Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jai Namo Namaha.
Vrindaya Tulsi Devaya Priyaya Kesamasya Vishnu Bhakti Pradhe Devi Sajavachai Namo Namaha.
Vrindaya Tulsi Devaya Priyaya Kesavasya Vishnu Bhakti Pradhe Devi Sajavachai Namo Namaha. Jai Tulsi Maharani ki Jai. We offer our most respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire trees who can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Jai Kripa Sindhu Yevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Prabhupada ki jai.
Ramanujacharya today. So today, you can just put that. So today is the disappearance day of Shripad Ramanujacharya, who is one of the four Sampradaya Acharyas, and we'll be talking about him today. First, though, we're going to sing the prayers to the departed Vaishnavas. Get this here. All right. Last page. Ye anila premadana karuna pracho. Ye anila premadana karuna pracho. Hena Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur. Hena Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur. Kahamora Swarup Rupa Kahasanatan Gamora Swarup Rupa Kahasanatan Kahadasa Ragunatam Batita Pavan Kahadasa Ragunata Patita Pavan Mora Bata Yuga Kahakaviraj Kahamora Bata Yuga Kahakaviraj Ekakale Kota Gela Goranata Raj Ekakale Kota Gela Goranata Raj Pashane Kutibo Mata Anole Pashibo Anale Kutibo Mata Anale Pashibo Garanga Gunera Nidi Kota Gele Pabo Garanga Gunera Nidi Kota Gele Pabom Se Sabba Sangira Sange Ye Koilo Bilas Se Sabba Sangira Sange Ye Koilo Bilas Se Sangha Napaya Kande Narotamo Das He Sabasanaim Kande Narotamo Das Yeonila Prema Dana Karuna Prachur Yanila Prema Dana Karuna Prachur Jaya Charya Thakur 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 Jaya Charya Jaya Charya Thakur Jaya Charya Thakur Charya Thakur Jaya 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 Charya Thakur Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvigacharya Terasada Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sakho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinda Ki Jai Jai Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shai Mukunda Radhakunda Giri Gaurani Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Shripad Ramanujacharya Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanandi all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. One second here. I'll read the translation now. He who brought the treasure of divine love and who is filled with compassion and mercy, where is such a personality as Srinivasacharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatana? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? And where is Krishna Das Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all these devotees in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottam Das simply weeps. So yesterday we heard about Madhvacharya, one of the four main acharyas of the four sampradayas, and today is the disappearance day of Sri Ramanujacharya. And while I was researching this class, I came upon an article actually written by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur about Ramanujacharya. Actually, it includes Ramanujacharya, mostly is about him. And this is from, I found this on the Gaudiya history, which is a part of ISKCON Desire Tree. And it's an article entitled Circumambulation of Sri Braja Mandala, and it was printed on in the November 1931 edition of the Harmonist magazine. And only part of it of this long article is included, and that's the part which speaks more directly about Sripad Ramanujacharya. I'm going to paraphrase some of this because it's in very dense language, and some of it I'll be able to read. It's interesting how he starts. First thing that he says is that it was from in the north of India where the Vedic tradition was degraded by what he calls elevationism and idealism of different philosophical schools that were ultimately, he calls, atheistic cults of Jainism and Buddhism. And he said that their purpose was total suppression of the theistic tradition that embodies the worship of Vishnu. And it's because of this that the four acharyas who were to revive the theistic tradition, they became they were manifest, and all of them came from South India. You have Vishnu Swami, who is from the Rudra Sampradaya, and Sri Nimbarka, which is the Kumara Sampradaya, and of course we heard about Sri Madhva yesterday, who's in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, the Brahma Sampradaya, and today we'll hear about Sri Ramanuja. And Sri Ramanuja comes in directly from a long line of theism from the Alvars and from the south, which had a tradition of theistic Vedic understanding. So, according to the evidence that we have about Ramanujacharya, is that ultimately his mood only goes to the point of dasya rasa. There's no direct path to Braj Prem or what we would call Vrindavan Krishna, in the sense that he worships Narayan, Om Namo Narayanaya, which is the mantra that is chanted by the members of the Sri Sampradaya. And therefore, he's really what they emphasize is service. And as we'll hear later, he really emphasized service to Vaishnavas. Now, it's said that Ramanujacharya, he is an incarnation, really of the same person, but in different aspects. It's said that he's the incarnation of Anantashesh, because he's come to reestablish the philosophy of Sri Vishnu. And it's said that Anantashesh speaks the glories of Lord Vishnu through his millions of mouths. But the Sri Vaishnavas point out that Sri Ramanuja is an incarnation of Lakshman. Since Lakshman was a great devotee of Ram, and he was known as Ramanuja, the follower of Ram. And in a sense, it's the same personality, because we know that Lord Balaram, Nityananda, Lakshman, Anantashesha is an expansion of that personality. So we hear that, according to the tradition, that Sri Ramanujacharya was born on the 5th day of the full moon in the month of Chaitra in 1017 AD. He left the world in 1137 AD, which makes him 120 years old. Some scholars say that 1017 should be brought up a couple decades, but the traditional is 1017, and everyone agrees that he lived a very long life. So his father, Keshavacharya, was very much attached to the performances of Vedic sacrifices and yagnas, and they were really smart Brahmins, the family. His father was famous as Sarva Kratu, or the performer of all kinds of sacrifices. So his father made sure that he got all the education that he was supposed to get, grammar and logic and study of the Vedas. And he was well schooled in all this Brahminical learning, but he was not really exposed to any sort of devotion to Sri Vishnu, and only in a formal sense. But he had a natural propensity towards this, and this propensity for devotion to Sri Vishnu, or bhakti, was awakened by a friend of his named Kanchi Purna. Kanchi Purna was a Shudra, but he was the disciple of Sri Yamunacharya, and this is important to remember as the story goes on. And so through that friendship, he was cultivating this mood of devotion to Vishnu. He went through all the purificatory rites. He went to the sacred thread ceremony. He was married at the age of 16, but promptly after he was married, his father died. And the whole family then moved from the village into the city of Kanchipurna. And there, for one reason or another, they say a lot of different things why it happened, he became a disciple of Yadava Prakash, who was a Mayavadi. And the one says that one opinion is that the family were Smartas, therefore they put their son went to a Mayavadi, and the other is that, and this is what the Sri Vaishnavas like to say, is that he was put there to defeat the Mayavadi. So we know, I'm going to summarize this, that he was really at odds with his guru, and and it came to a breaking point when he was massaging him one day, and his guru was describing the lotus eyes of the Supreme Lord, and he comparing them to I won't even get into it, a certain part of a monkey. And this so disturbed Ramanujacharya that he was crying, and his guru asked him why, and he told him. And he said, well, if you've got a better answer, you tell me. And so Ramanujacharya, he stated that actually this word kapyasam means that which sits upon the water and flourishes by drinking. Well, Yadava Prakash then became very threatened, and he made a plot to have him murdered by the Ganges, in the Ganges, or on the way to the Ganges. And as an excuse, they would come back and say, well, I don't know where he is. But actually, he was saved because his cousin Govinda told him, hey, they're going to try to kill you. And miraculously, he was sent back to Kanchipurnam. And so when Yadava Prakash came back, he was quite amazed. But the problem is that at this point, he had no guru, because he rejected his guru. So he had no guru, and so he decided to take shelter of Kanchipurna, his friend, who was a devout lover of Lord Varadaraja. Varadaraja, right, thank you. Varadaraja. And so he took shelter of his friend Kanchiporna. And Kanchiporna, he refused. I mean, he asked for initiation from Kanchiporna, and Kanchiporna refused. Because he said, look, I'm a Shudra and you're a Brahmana. I'm not qualified to teach you. But finally, after a period of time, Kanchiporna relented and engaged the great scholar Ramanuja in menial service for carrying water for the Lord Varadaraja. And so he engaged in these intense, in these simple services and chanted the Lord's glories and served his guru. And as he did, his heart, Ramanuja's heart started churning with intense emotions for Krishna. So he's doing service here in Kanchiporna, and meanwhile, Yamunacharya, who lives in Sri Rangam, he hears about Ramanuja, and he really wants him to come. And Yamunacharya, Srila Yamunacharya, is getting very old, and so he sends his great devotee Mahapurna to get Ramanuja in Kanchipornam. But by the time they get back to Sri Rangam, Yamunacharya has left the world. And his followers were crying in grief. And Ramanuja, he felt completely devastated. He missed his guru. But he entered the assembly, and when he did, there was a hushed silence when he entered. And Ramanujacharya loudly proclaimed a vow before the dead body of his revered Yamunacharya, because he lay with 3 of his fingers in his right hand closed. And so he made this vow: "O great teacher, I vow today that I shall dedicate my life to fulfill 3 of your wishes. I shall teach the universal message of surrender to the Lord in pure bhakti." And then 1 finger opened. Then he says, "I promise I shall write a detailed commentary of devotional poems of the Alvars, the great saints of South India." And Yamunacharya's 2nd finger opened. Now it was obvious that his unfulfilled desires will be fulfilled by Ramanuja. "And I promise to write Sri Vaishnava commentary on Vedanta Sutra and reestablish the position of Vedavyas and Parshamuni." And immediately, all the other finger was open and his hand was open then, and it was established that Ramanujacharya was the chosen one to carry on Yamunacharya's mission. And it's interesting here to note that he was a disciple of one of Yamunacharya's disciples. And still, he was blessed to be the next acharya. So we can see that how a great acharya's influence can pass through another devotee. And so we can see how Srila Prabhupada, his influence passes through his disciples, who then take disciples themselves, and they get the same benefit of being a disciple of Srila Prabhupada because of that transparency. So we see it as an example right here. So over the years, and I owe my wife's research on this one, because she found this in another article in the Vaishnava histories. Yamunacharya, he taught 74 precepts. And I'm not going to read them all because I won't have time, but I'm going to read the main ones, some of the main ones. And they're really quite important and enlightening. Because and the reason I'm not reading all of them is some of them are good for people who lived in the 11th and 12th century, don't really apply to us now. But the ones that do apply to us, they begin: "The glories of preceptors and great devotees should be remembered before any other work is begun. A part of the day should be set aside for praising and contemplating upon the glory of one's own guru. A part of the day should also be set aside for reciting, studying, and contemplating the works of the Vedas. Service to one's own acharya and any other devotee should be on par. One should serve every devotee as one would serve his own guru. One should have faith and reverence for the teachings of all the previous acharyas. Having come in contact with a guru due to one's previous good karma, one should not revert to mundane affairs. Upon waking, one should recall to the mind the disciplic succession, Guru Parampara. When a learned person, and this is good, this is very important, this is something, these are applicable to us. When a learned person is recounting the glories of the Lord, like giving a class, pay due respect and do not leave in the middle of the discourse. 10. I'm actually skipping some, but this is number 10. One should avoid becoming engrossed in the persistent enjoyment of sensual pleasures. One should not waste time reading books about worldly things unrelated to any knowledge of the ultimate truth. In the matter of sensual pleasures, one should be cautious and restrained. Attachment for the use of perfumes, flowers, and similar decorative items is not recommended. One should not cultivate an interest or relish for hearing about mundane affairs. One should always study about the Lord, his incarnations, pastimes, and their merciful activities. Even Vaishnavas who are enchanted by the passions of the body and mind should be avoided. Associating with those who repeatedly avoid associating with those who repeatedly talk ill of others. Avoiding those who follow other paths, one should always nurture the association of devotees who know the right means to the goal. Never consider yourself equal to any other Vaishnava. Refrain from self-congratulation and self-glorification in front of other Vaishnavas. Be constantly mindful of your insignificance. Do not neglect or look down on Vaishnavas even if they are financially deprived. Service to devotees is the sole purpose of life. Offense to devotees will lead to self-destruction. The worship of devotees is superior to the worship of the Lord, Bhagavan. The tirtha and prasad of the devotee are superior to the Lord himself. Follow the precepts of the gurus and adhere to religious conduct. Avoid pursuing people who are worldly and irreligious. That's 51. Okay, next one. Vaishnavas, keen on obtaining everlasting joy, should strive for the welfare of all devotees. Offerings to the Lord should not be selected upon personal preference. All offerings should be distributed as a this is interesting. It regards here as taking prasadam, which is, 68? Yeah. All offerings should be distributed as a sacramental meal and not consumed in gluttony. In other words, we take prasadam to honor prasadam, not like, wow, this is great, I want, like eat like a squirrel or something. Money and valuables donated, this is interesting, money and valuables donated by those disinclined toward devotional service should not be accepted, even if unasked. We may change that in the modern age. To consider the deity of the Lord as a mere statue, the Guru as any other person, or categorize Vaishnavas and great tirthas and prasad as mere items, or regard Sriman Narayan, Krishna, as one of the many gods, leads to spiritual backsliding. Never neglect the teachings and practices emphasized in the Shastras and precepts. Always aim to propagate the teachings of the Acharyas for the benefit of humanity. So those are some of the 74 items that he preached about. And now I'm going to go to the section which deals with his disappearance. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes here about his disappearance. So, Sripad Ramanujacharya Goswami Prabhupada was 120 years old. During his life, he had established 74 centers for Sri Vaishnavas and had many thousands of followers, including several kings and many wealthy landowners. Apart from the householders, he numbered amongst his followers 700 sannyas disciples, 12,000 brahmacharis disciples, 300 ladies who had taken vows of renunciation. Eventually, seeing that his mission on earth was now completed, he decided to give up his frail body and return to the abode of the Lord. At this time, Sri Ramanujacharya's disciples cried very loud and felt emotionally disturbed. Upon hearing their cries, Sri Ramanujacharya came out of his trance. He's like, he's not dying. He's going to leave this world. He's just going back to be with Lord Narayan or going someplace else to preach. So it's described this as a trance. It's not like he's in a coma or on, taking, morphine and he's just barely conscious. But he's in a trance. And he hears their cries. And he says to his disciples, "My dear children, why do you cry out in lamentation like uneducated people? Do you think this body can endure forever? Am I not fixed in your hearts for all time? Therefore, give up this useless wailing and understand the will of the Lord." To this, the disciples replied, "O Master, as always, your instructions are perfect. Nonetheless, it is impossible for us to bear the pain of separation, which must surely overwhelm us if you leave us now." Sri Ramanujacharya showed them mercy and stayed for 3 more days, giving them discourses on each of the following subjects. And go back to here. And these are the 10 subjects. These are his 10 final instructions that he spoke in the last 3 days before he left his disciples. 1, those who have surrendered to the Lord should consider that everything that happens to them is ordained by the Lord, and therefore they should never complain, no matter how much misery or suffering is involved. Lamenting indicates conduct inconsistent with the doctrine of surrender. The surrender should be total and irrevocable, without suspension or casual treatment. Very important. I mean, we may not be on that level, but we should never think, why did Krishna do this to me? I mean, it's not Krishna doing, it's, to take the verse where, in the Lord Brahma says, "Let me suffer my lot because of my past karmic activities." And so he's making this point that we should never complain no matter how much misery. It's being given to us because of our previous karma. Prabhupada gave the example of the fan which is running, and you unplug your fan and then the fan will stop. but the blades are going to move for a while. 2, the events in a person's life arise due to their past karma, consisting of actions, emotions, thoughts performed by the individual. This being the case, there is no cause for lamentation. Complaining demonstrates disbelief in the law of karma. All vicissitudes of life should be faced with undaunted courage. 3, work should not be done as a means to an end. Well, that means a material end. We may do work for and the next one will say this, we may do work for serving the Lord. But when we work for some fruitive activity, then, the deal is if you want to get something out of this world, then you're going to also get something else out of this world. It's all in the cycle of karma and birth and death. So we should never be thinking, I'm going to get something for myself, because that's materialistic thinking. 4, all work should be done merely as service to the Lord. Everything should be done in service to the Lord. 5, serve the great Vaishnavas with sincerity and study Sri Bhasya. That means that's his commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam. Vedanta Sutra, under their guidance. These higher ideals should be propagated for the benefit of humanity. So we have to study Prabhupada's books, we have to study the books of the previous acharyas, and we should take these higher ideals and propagate them for the benefit of humanity. The one story where he has a guru who says, I have a secret mantra for you, and he gives him Om Namo Narayanaya, and he says, this will save you. And then Ramanujacharya jumps on top of a rooftop and starts giving the mantra out. And then his guru says, I told you if you did that, you'd go to hell. But he said, I don't care, everybody should get that mantra. And then the guru who gave him the mantra surrendered to him. If studying and propagating Sri Bhashya is not possible, study the teachings of the Alvars, which are great saints, and spread their message in public places. If even this cannot be done, attend to cleanliness and upkeep of temples, ensuring that offerings of flowers and decorations are made properly. So this is all the different things. The highest is to become a preacher, giving the knowledge to everyone. But there are other activities. If we can't do other activities, and you can see how this all fits into Prabhupada's mood also, which is, we have preachers at different levels, and then we have others who may not be preachers, but they're, taking care of the temples. They're ensuring that the deities are worshipped. They're making sure that things are taken care of. If unable to perform temple service, then retreat to a simple place and live there simply in devotion. So again, it means that if one's a householder, a simple life and live in devotion. This striving for huge houses and great cars and, I got to have the best education. All this is, it takes away. If a devotee has to work 15 hours a day in a job because he wants to get ahead, that's not what we should be thinking. We should be thinking, how can I work as little as possible and still make money somehow or other? Because that will leave us time to actually engage in Krishna consciousness. This is the message of the acharyas. What's important? What's important is service to Sri Guru and Gauranga. If even this is beyond one's capacity, remain where you are and chant for us, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, with full concentration and faith. If none of the above can be accomplished, resort to the service of a spiritual preceptor who is endowed with knowledge, devotion, and he says dispassion. I would say that's probably we could called he's renounced. Serve with humility, devoid of egoism. And here's the last line, and this is really important. There is no shortcut for leading a spiritual life. It has to be done step by step with full endeavor. And this is what Srila Prabhupada has given us. So on days like today, it's really important. I mean, Sri Vaishnavas are so influential in South India, and there's so much devotion. If you go to Tirupati, and you can wait 15 hours to see Balaji, Venkateshwara. And of course, when I was with Maharaj and another time, we managed to get what the equivalent of a Disney Fast Pass. You pay a little money. And then you only have to wait 3 hours. They put you up farther in the line. And as you squeeze through the line, it feels like you're, it's like toothpaste. It's like it's like a flow of humanity. And everybody's shouting, Govinda! Govinda! And of course, we think Govinda differently, but they're chanting Govinda. And then you get this long, from a distance, you start seeing Venkateshwara in the distance, and you're getting closer and closer. And then one of the times I went there, they gave us like extra 3 seconds. But most of the time, you get there, and they're not very polite. They shuffle you off, and the next group of people come. But that's the devotion that's there. And, and the Venkateshwara temple collects more daily money than they say any place in the world except the Vatican. So it's a huge, huge amount of pilgrims come. And we have a nice temple in the city below, which is really, really beautiful. It's golden. And, we established the supremacy of Sri Radha Madhava there. Radha Govinda. Sri Radha Govinda there. It's really a beautiful temple. In Asatakis. Yeah, it's really a beautiful temple. So if you get a chance, you can stay there in the guest house and then take the adventurous trip. One time I walked up with Maharaj up the steps. A long way, but you get to stop in different places and you see all the avatars as you go up. So this is all by the mercy of Sri Ramanujacharya, whose philosophy was called Vishishta Dvaita, which is qualified monism. He actually was the first one to cut down the atheistic philosophy of Sankaracharya, who had come a couple centuries before, saying that monism without God is pointless. Actually, one place I saw a class yesterday, and the devotee who was speaking, actually he was not a devotee, he was somebody else, but he spoke like a devotee. He said that Ramanujacharya said, if there's no God, then you can't even pray. And you can't even offer your love to anybody. So you has to be the personality of Godhead. Because otherwise, there's nothing there. It's just simply empty. And so he made that point so strongly. And that same thing goes on in South India, the fight between the Shivites and the Vaishnavas. It's not so much a fight, but it's sort of a competition. If you go to Kanchipurnam, there's the Shiva side and the Narayan side. So you can go to one temple and then go cross town to the other temple. So it's a wonderful example of spiritual culture. And we're fortunate to come in the line of all these great acharyas, and especially in the line of Sri Sri Gaurnitai, and the line of Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindanalayatacham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Bhagom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Asa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami.
All right. Hari Hey Jaya Lamora Jaya Radha Nath Hari Hey Jaya Lamora Jaya Radha Nath Baro Baro Hey Baro Lagu Nija Sa Baro Baro Hey Baro Lagu Nija Sa Bahu Joni Brahminatal Loinu Sharon Bahu Joni Brahminatal Loinu Sharon Nijakona Kripakora Adama Taran Jagata Karana to me Jagata Deva Jagata Karanu Tume Jagata Jivan Tomak Jarat Karana Radha Ramana Rama Bhuvana Mangala Tume Bhuvanera Pate Bhuvana Mangala Tume Bhuvanera Tumeo Bekelena Takioebe Gate Gate Mavia taking away Jagata Majare Mavia taking away Jagata Majare Toma Bina Ke Una da se udare Hare hey Doyala Mora Radhana Hare Hey Dayala Ra Jaya Radhana Baro Baro Hey Baro Nauni Jasa Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Jaya Radha Golokina Radha Golokina Radhe Golokina Radhe, Jaya Radha Golokina Radha Golokina Radhe, 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 Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paracharya Ostateras into Shima, His Divine Grace Goswami Maharaj ISKCON founder Acharya Shilopad Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Namacharya Shilopadidas Thakur say, oh Shri Krishna say, Hare Prabhu it wait God Vrinda Shiva Krishna Gopinath Shayama Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Vijay Vrindavan Shimani Lasi Devi Vijay Suveda Bhakta Vrinda Vijay Go Vrindavan all glories to someone all glories to someone Shiva
O Hari, O my merciful Lord, all glories to you, O Lord of Radha. Again and again I have pleaded with you, and now I beg you yet again to accept me as your own. O Lord, hopelessly taking birth over and over, I have now come to you for refuge. Please show your merciful nature and deliver this wretched soul. You are the cause of the universe and its very life. Other than you, O lover of Radha, there is no shelter. You bring about auspiciousness for the world, and you are the master of all the worlds as well. O Lord, what will become of me if you forsake me? I have understood, after contemplating my predicament, that within this world there is no one who can deliver this servant but you. Chaito darpanam marjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam Shreyakairavya chandrika vitarnam vidyavabhujivanam anantam buddhivardhanam pratipanam pranamrita swadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate. Thank you for your wonderful service. Namna Kari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra Niyamita Smaranena Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Hajjanina Anuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Suhishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamae Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhakti Rapoitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Budao Kripayata Vabada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrashim Vachintaya Nayanam Gadadashu Daraya Varanam Gad Gaduradaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanama Grahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Nimishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishyavapadamratam Anastumam Adarshanam Marma Hatokarotiva Matpranatastusa Eva Napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for